welcome to Outcome Based Teaching Learning series. As you have been introduced that what is the difference between the traditional teaching versus the outcome based teaching learning. Let me give you some quick points. That is, the outcome based teaching learning process is very different from the traditional teaching learning assessment, because in the traditional system, the system was very different. The teacher used to come and teach in the class. The methods were very important, that is only the lecture demonstration and some kind of tutorials, and the students used to ask about what has been done in the class. So it was basically the assessment focus was just checking that what was delivered in the classroom, and the tutorials were just for the clarifications. So these were the only two aspects which were taken care of in the traditional teaching learning process. But owing to this, the new outcome based teaching learning process, on the other hand, is based on what do I intend my students to be able to, after my teaching, that they could be doing before. That is, after my teaching, now they are able to do, and to what standards. How do I supply learning activities that will help them in achieving those outcomes? How do I assess them to see how well they have been achieved? So, these are the main key points of the OBTL. Now, coming on to what were the problems in the traditional education system, owing to which there is a paradigm shift from the traditional education system to OBTL. Number one is age-old methodology that does not get intended results. That is, the teaching methodology which was used in the traditional method was very old, and nothing exciting about it. So it was definitely not very exciting for the students also. They used to just shut their ears, sit in the room, listen to the teacher and wait for the class to be over, because there was no interactive sessions, much of interactive sessions, although few teachers they always use the innovative teaching pedagogy. So I am not generalizing the statement, but just to talk about the traditional education system, it was more about demonstration of the lectures and just clarification of what has been lectured in the class. It does not measure the attainment of skill, that is whether the student has attained those skills or not. There was not even a single measure to measure their skills, and little or no correlation between the classroom learning and the industry expectations. So it does not incorporate the feedbacks from the industry experts. It does not encourage the student to apply learning to the real time scenarios, and no continuous improvement process. So I am going to explain you now the key problems which was there in the traditional education system, owing to which so much of effort has been made to come out with a new education policy with the outcome based teaching learning process. The old method, that is the traditional method, it used to have a very old methodology which was very limited to the lectures and clarifications, and the students were asked for the evaluation just by giving and reproducing what was taken in the class from the teachers, and whether they have attained those particular skills or not, there was not even a single measure. So what is that education useful for? And that is why we have more of unemployment rate, we have less applied education in India. So, and definitely if you ask me, there was no correlation between the classroom lecture and the industry expectation, whereas on the contrary, the things have changed now. I will be giving you the key features of the OBTL also, but let me now concentrate on the problems which the traditional education system is facing. So it never used to incorporate the feedback from the industry expert, from what is expected in the market, what required skills are important for the student to have or to possess. So it doesn't encourage the students to apply the learning to the real time scenario. The real time scenario is different, and the education what was given to them was different. So completely disconnect, no correlation, no hand to hand moving together. If industry is moving on Y side, the education is moving on X side. So completely different roads, they are not meeting, and no meeting at the ends also. So that is why there was a lot of problem, and when the students used to enter the the scenario of the employment, again they have to go in for the training sessions, and huge cost was involved in the training the new incumbents. So no continuous improvement process is there, because the students were very limited to have the credits or the grades or the scores that I've got first division, I've got 65%, I've got 75%. So there, even the student vision was just to have the grades and complete the credit system. It is not the fault of the students also, because the system was like this. But yes, now coming on to the new system, it is never too late. But the new system which has been introduced recently by the University Grant Commission, as the name suggests, OBTL starts clearly stating not what the teacher is going to teach, but the outcome of teaching is intended to be the form of a statement of what the learner is supposed to be able to do and at what standard. That is the intended learning outcome, ILO. Now, this statement of the OBTL system is very important for you to understand. That is, now it is not what the teacher wants you to understand and do. It is now about what industry expectation is, and what experts want you to have the skills. So there is a brainstorming session about fixing the curriculum. Additionally, what expectation the industry has about the new incumbents to possess. So the intended learning outcomes are designed, and the curriculum or the program outcomes is designed according to what the expectation is all about in the industry, in the academia, or any other field where you want to enter, right? So when the students attend the lectures, their main activity is not receiving but not doing. Hence we need some teaching learning activities that require the students to apply. So this OBTL system, that is the new teaching learning activities, are invented. That is, when we are teaching our students, they should be able to invent, they should be able to generate some new ideas, they should be able to diagnose, and some kind of a problem solving skills are achieved, and whatever other things they are expected to be able to do after they graduate. So this is such a very good setup and very good process, wherein the outcomes of the teaching learning activities is actually empowering the students, and they are so empowered that they are able to invent themselves, they are able to have some kind of a new ideas, as the ideas can change their life. They are able to have some kind of a diagnostic system within themselves, they are able to have a problem solving skills within themselves, and of course or whatever other things they are expected to be able to do after they graduate from the the higher education institute. So basically, what are our tasks? We need the assessment task, that is, we call it as ATs, that tell us not to how well students have received the knowledge, but how well they can use it in academically and professionally in appropriate ways, such as problem solving, designing experiments, communicating with the clients. And it is often difficult to assess the applied and high order outcomes in the examination room context. See, in the traditional concept, the idea was to reproduce whatever was done in the class. So the examination paper was designed accordingly, and the student used to revise the notes which was done in the class, and they used to reproduce and used to concentrate on attaining the grade and the outcomes of that particular assessment type. But yes, in the new education system, in the outcome based teaching learning process, we as teachers, we have to design some assessment task, and those assessment tasks is all about assessing them on the practicalities, on actually designing certain appropriate ways and actually equipping them with the higher order outcomes, like they are able to have a high order level thinking levels, problem solving levels, and which is definitely cannot be a part of the examination room. It has to be a real time basis, it has to be on a practical basis, it has to be on specifically attaching them with the expectation of the industry. So this is how the assessment task is all about. So I hope the concept of the OBTL and the teaching learning process which was traditionally adopted is clear to everyone. Just a quick revision of what we have done till now. The traditional system was very simple, which was just concentrating on just the demonstration, lecture delivery and clarification, and the assessment level was concentrating on the reporting back of what has been done in the class. whereas the new system of OBTL is a very, very different paradigm. There is a paradigm shift in the OBTL, in which the question which we ask is all about what do I intend my students to be able to do after my teaching, and that could be do before, and what standards. How do I supply the learning activities that help them to achieve those outcomes? How do I assess them? The problem in the traditional education system was that the methodology was very old. There were no intended results. There was no intended outcome. There was no measure that whether what skills our students should have, whether we are able to impart it through our education system or not. There was no assessment in that regard. There was completely disconnect between the classroom teaching and the industry expectation, and what do we expect our students to become after they complete and graduate from the higher education institute. There were no feedbacks taken from the industries. There was no real time activity, real time scenario, real time learning, and of course there was no continuous improvement process. Whereas on the contrary, if you talk about the outcome based teaching learning process, it starts very, very clearly that what a teacher has to teach, what we want our students to become, what are the intended learning outcomes. So, accordingly we design the teaching learning assessment activities. So, this teaching learning assessment activities, the eventuality of this adoption of the teaching learning activities, that the students are able to invent, they are able to generate the new ideas, they are able to diagnose, they are able to have the problem solving skills, and whatever other things they are expected to be able to do after they graduate. So, we need certain assessment tasks and tell us not how well students have received, but how they can use it in academically, professionally, and in a right manner, so that the very purpose of the outcome based education learning is not defeated. They become the problem solvers, they become the innovators, they become the experimenters, they become the good communicators. They are able to have the best of skills, and we are able to test them on a real time basis. They should have the real high order thinking levels is the outcome of the OBTL. So, one learning theory worth exploring is called outcome based, because it is driven by results rather than the process of learning. So, mark my words that if you are able to have the best results, if the outcomes are good, not the output, but the outcomes, the overall the output, if you say the output, if it has a quality, becomes the outcome. So, this is the difference between outcome and the output. Earlier we used to have the output, now we are having the outcomes. So, output plus quality plus desired results becomes the outcome, and this is the basic difference of traditional way of teaching and the outcome based teaching learning process. So, one learning theory worth exploring it is called the outcome based, because it is driven by the results, not by the process of teaching. So, the outcome based teaching and learning is a curriculum design framework for teaching and learning that helps you focusing on what? First, identifying the intended outcomes or the goals of learning, and assessment to maximize the likelihood that the students achieve those outcomes or those goals. So, just to repeat the definition, because this is very important for you to understand that what is OBTL. The outcome based teaching learning, the focus is on what? We have to identify first the intended outcomes or the goals of a module or a program, and then aligning that with the teaching, learning and assessment. So, that means first you have to find out what is the intention of this course, what you want your students to have the intended outcomes after doing a course. You have to ask a question, is this course fruitful to you? Is this course fruitful to the students? So, after it is find out, if you have to find out the usefulness of that particular course. So, after identifying the usefulness of the course, the intended outcomes or the goals of a module or a program which you want to introduce in that program, you have to align three things. First, you have to align your teaching so that you are able to do justice with the identification of the intended outcomes which you have framed, and followed by the learning and the assessment activities to maximize the likelihood that students achieve those outcomes and the goals. So, as you can see on the slide that there are learning outcomes. So you have to constructively align assessment, learning and the learning outcomes. So if you have this kind of a syncing of three, we are able to achieve the overall nuances of, or the real essence of outcome based teaching learning process. Now, I want to give you certain examples. The lecturer X, as you can see on the screen, what is he saying? I have the course, the learning outcomes. However, my teaching contents is not connected with my, the course learning outcomes. So, what does it mean? That there is a problem in the designing of the course, or with the syncing part, etc. So, I am giving you few examples which will give you some kind of problems in the yesteryear teaching and the adoption of the outcome teaching, because we now sync the teaching learning process with the intended outcomes which you want to achieve, with the overall the results which we want to achieve. So, there is another example which was given by Associate Professor Mr. Y. I have delivered the content, however, I did not assess what I have taught them. That means the outcomes of the teaching which was given by Associate Professor Mr. Y is not measurable. So, this is a big question mark. So, this has to be completely removed, and of course, the measurable targets should be introduced. Now, another example. There is a Professor Mr. Y, he is saying what? Let us have a look. I have assessed the learning content, however, my exam questions are not directly relating to my course learning objects. So, that means what? We have a problem in assessing our students. So, again, there is a syncing in all the three examples. So, that means if we are able to have a syncing of the course learning, of the program learning, of the objectives which we have to see, we have to sync everything in the line. So, in the student centering learning, we are not a teacher, we are a learning facilitator. So, that means when you are into a new paradigm of outcome based teaching learning process, do not teach them the advantages, the disadvantages, the merits, the demerits. Let us not adopt the old ways. Let us be innovators and let us adopt the new framework wholeheartedly as a teacher, because we are adopting a student centric learning process. We are we will be contributing as not as teachers but as facilitators, and most of the work will be done by the students and we will just help them. We will just guide them. So, we are more of a guide, as a philosopher, guide and a facilitator, rather than the previous role, the old role which we used to play by spoon feeding our students. If we are spoon feeding our students as per the the traditional teaching pedagogies, we are not going to open their analytical skills, problem solving skills and other skills which they want to adopt. So, now coming on to a very clear picture of what is important for the students to be able to do, then organizing the curriculum accordingly, instructions and assessments to make sure the learning ultimately happens. So, this is primarily the main responsibility of the teachers to do the following things. So, let me give the attention to the following points. We want our students should be able to do this part after the course is complete. So, that is the intended learning outcomes of that particular course. So, then we have to design our curriculum accordingly, taking the feedback and taking the broad spectrum advice from every factor and every faction or every stakeholder whosoever is connected with this part of the lectures, that is the curriculum. So, after having due advice from every faction or every stakeholder who is connected and associated with this particular course, we are having, or we are well equipped with the number of advices. So, now is the time to build our curriculum. So, our curriculum should be practical based, it should be based on the expectations of our stakeholders and the instruction and the assessment to make sure that the learning actually happens. If there is a mismatch between what the industry want and what we are teaching them, again we are moving on to the old road, which is a dead end. So, now we want to explore the new paradigms, the new frontiers, owing to which we have to make our curriculum enriched. Enriching them with what? enriching them with the recipe of advices from the academia, from the industry, from the various stakeholders, so that we are able to build the curriculum which is the need of today. And instruction and assessment, whatever we are doing, should be practical based, not just reproducing which was done in the yesteryear teachings. We have to assess them, we have to give them the instructions on the completely paradigm shift on the practical aspects of what they actually have to do. If we make sure all these things, learning is definitely going to happen. There is no one who can stop the learning of the teachers as well as of the students. So let me give you a complete points once again. So a clear picture of what is intended from the students is the first thing they should be able to do. Then we have to design and organize the curriculum accordingly. The instructions and assessment have to be on touching the practical part, and of course the result is the learning will happen. So in a student centric learning, the student construct their own knowledge, and this is the nuances of the new education policy, which is an outcome based learning. And in the student centric learning, we are not teachers, we are the learning facilitators. We are just giving them what they have to do, how they have to do, and what things they have to cover. So just moving on, that the course learning objectives, the intended learning objectives, the program learning objectives, the mission and the vision of introduction of that particular course which you are introducing have to be in one line. If there is a disconnect or there is a mismapping, then of course the essence and the real benefits of the outcome based teaching learning process will be in vain, and the efforts which are the government of India and other competent authorities who are trying to put will be in vain. So first when you talk about the OBTL, identify the intended objects and the goals and the modules and the program, and then aligning the teaching, learning and assessment. So understand this, we have to understand the intended learning objects first, and then we have to sync with the teaching alignment and the learning assessment to make the OBTL a success.